So this is what an angry mob looks like.
Racist, too.
Did anybody get their cards checked when they come in here? Did anybody ask you to leave? No. This is what American democracy looks like.
That's right.
And thank God it does. Look, I love this country. Washington is broken, and they're spending far too much money, right?
I agree.
And that's why we're here. That's why we're here. Like, this is not my, I'll have an opportunity to talk to you at a later time. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. Look, to answer your question specifically, I'm a career citizen, right? I took an oath of office when I was a midshipman. I went to the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, became a naval officer, a Navy pilot. I took an oath of office twice to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
Honor to do so. And in those days, I was on the pointy edge of the sword, and all the bad guys were on the other side.
Right.
Right? And I gave my youth to this country. And now, I look at it, the bad guys are on the inside.
Right.
And what I'm trying to do is to fight now for our liberty and our freedom. I used to live in Washington. I worked in the Pentagon. I've had a tremendous life. I kid with my wife that if the Lord takes me tomorrow, somebody will be able to write a good biography about me, but I want to write a few more chapters if you don't mind. But I used to live inside the Beltway. I lived in Capitol Hill when I worked for the Pentagon. And what happens, and there's a crazy place. Anybody been down there? Right? Anybody ever lived down there? It's a lovely place to live, right? It's exciting, it's fun. But what happens is our politicians go down there, and I think you addressed it, was a young man, you addressed it earlier. They get corrupted. What happens is they catch this disease I call Potomac fever. Right? They start mopping their brow. When they go down there, originally they read the Washington Post, they read the front page, you know, diligently day after day, and then eventually they start looking in the back to the society pages, right? They want to know who's sitting close to the president, who got invited to the Kennedy Center, who's on Meet the Press, right? Who's in line for that next chairmanship, and the yardstick with which they measure their performances with their colleagues, and not the people that are here. It's what drives people like Richard Neal to collect, 80% of his money outside of Massachusetts, and 98% of his money outside of the 2nd District, because his friends don't live here in Douglas. And I believe that because 74% of you voted for Scotland. Right? Why I'm doing this. Everybody see this picture here? This is a little baby boy, 6.5 months old now, named Zach. This is taken a few weeks back in Palmer. And, I got to thinking, this guy doesn't know debt from deficit, doesn't know Democrat from Republican, right? All he knows is he got a mom and a dad who loves him dearly, and they want what everybody wants for their family, right? They want to live in peace. They want to live with the government off their backs. They want to understand the dignity of human labor, and they want to earn a living, and they want to leave for their family something better than they had when they came. Right?
Exactly.
Does anybody see it differently?
Nope.
That's what it's all about. Look,
Simple.
if you send me to Washington, I'm not going to get corrupted. I know what it's like to live down there. I'm going to go down there for 10 years. And you got to make an impact. I traveled all around the world. I've had a marvelous life. I took my first trip when I was a Boy Scout. In fact, this is a tough day for me because this is where the rubber meets the road. Because tonight I'm still the Boy Scout leader in Hopedale. I'm the Scoutmaster. And tonight is a big court of honor, and we have 16 Cub Scouts crossing over. This is the 100th anniversary of Boy Scouting in America. I think it's the finest organization for boys ever. The decision I made to come here tonight was because I wanted to protect something for them in the future. Those 11-year-old boys who are crossing over today to become Boy Scouts, look, we're still going to be in Afghanistan when they're ready to get drafted. And I hate to say that, but we've got to figure out ways of getting out of these long wars that we can't seem to fight to win.
I agree.
Right? And we're stuck in Iraq for 7 years, 9 years in Afghanistan. And thank you for your service. Being led by a commander-in-chief who took 3 months to listen to the generals and figure out what he needed to do while you're sitting over there with bullets flying.
Oh, he was there for 6 hours the other
Unacceptable.
night.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, in the
Right?
middle of the night.
And for those of us,
After dark.
those of you who've been through, multiple deployments in war zones and things like that, it wears people down. It wears morale down. It wears the equipment down. We're building, everything's screwed up in Washington. Everything. So look, I'm going to end, but what's going to happen is that come November, 2010 is not just an opportunistic year to be for Republicans or against incumbents. What this is, I guarantee you, 30 years from now, history will look back on 2010, and they will say 2010 was the year that America voted to take back control of America. Swung to the left this much and no farther. We're gonna dig our heels in and begin to bring it back. And it took generations to get it where it is. It may take us generations to get it back, but it starts in 2010 because you're gonna send people, I hope, like me, down to Washington. I'm gonna rendezvous in there with 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, who knows how many new people are gonna go to Washington who are like-minded, who've never been down there before, who are citizens just like me, from both sides of the aisle. I don't care if someone is Democrat or Republican. If Richard Dean was behaving like he was and he was a Republican, I'd run as a Democrat. I tell you that right now. Repeal Neil. Let's get him out of there. And let's go down to Washington. I will work with that group. I will bring leadership to that group of people, because that's what I've done my entire adult life as a naval officer, as a businessman, a large businessman, a small businessman. Look, you can help me out. Most of you have gotten these blue cards. I would love it if you would just fill out this bottom part of the card and return it to me, and I'll get you on our mailing lists. Look, we've got a great website. Give me this thing here. TomWesley.com, right? You got a text line just like Scott Brown. You got a question?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I've read the blue card and I like what I read. And I believe that you believe that you'll go down there and not be corrupted, but how do you stop that? Because I don't...
On my honor, I will do my best, do my duty throughout my country to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Remember the space, because I'm holding it to it.
Well, not just something
I... You read that.
No, you don't have. I just read it for you. This is the coin about the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Look, I believe this stuff. The highest compliment someone can say to me, oh, he's just a Boy Scout. Damn right. That's what I am. So look, ladies and gentlemen, I'll have another opportunity to talk to you at a later time. This is a marvelous evening. This is for you. This is for America. This is day one of tomorrow. And it's for you guys right there, the kids on your lap, your sons. That's what we're here for. I ask you for your vote. I ask you for your personal support in trying to make this dream come true. Look, Wall Street Journal today was talking about Tea Party candidates. But the good news is, the bad news, good news, bad news is there hasn't been an opponent against Richard Neal in 12 years. The good news is there is one now, all right, and he's a Tea Party guy. Thank you very much.